Hi everyone, it's Andy from Hobby Headquarters. Today I've got an exciting new project that I want to share with you guys today. This is a new kit starting off with a new line from Dragon Models. This is the Dragon Plots line, and it'll be signified by their little symbol right here. What these kits are all brand new tooling, but they have been completely re-engineered to really reduce the part count on it. In fact, this kit right here is 175 parts. And this is in stark contrast to their original Panzer IV kit. This kit came out about 10-12 years ago, and this one had over 1,200 parts. So needless to say, it was quite a bit of work putting this thing together. And I actually built the E, which is a very similar version to this, and yeah, it was a couple-week project, even for me, as fast as I built. So with this new kit here, like I said, it is all new tooling. There are a couple parts that are shared from previous kits, like these have the DS tracks on it, as well as some of the tools. But the rest of the kit has all been re-engineered and all brand new tooling on it. So this looks like it's something that we can probably build in a fairly quick time. So what I'll do first is, I don't normally show you the parts, but this is a special type of thing and it's first in its line. I will open it up and show you inside first before we start building on it. So enough talking, let's get started on it. Okay, what I thought I would do is start showing you guys the parts, and since I actually have the old kit as well as the new kit open here, I thought I'd do a little bit of side-by-side comparison to show you a few things. To start off, it's a bathtub style hull. Kind of give you a little once-over right here. Now, the other kit, this is the original Panzer IV. Now, I'm leaving it in the bag because this is actually up on my discount rack. And you can see a lot of the extra pieces are already molded into place on here. All this would be extra stuff that you have to glue on. The tracks, the original kit had the Magic tracks. The new kit has the DS tracks. They are hollow horn, and they look to be pretty decent, especially with. And if you really wanted to upgrade it, you could always go ahead and put the metal Fruel tracks on it. One of the biggest time savers that you're going to run into are going to be the road wheels and the suspension parts. And just to kind of give you, these are the outer road wheels. They have the caps already glued into place. The rubber's already on here, as well as the suspension arms. All of this is all one together piece, and actually very nicely molded as well. Right down to the lettering on the tires. And this is the original pieces. As you can see, the road wheels all had to have the outer caps put on. The suspension arms were made up of many multiple pieces, as well as the fact that the rubber had to be cut out and glued on as well. Now that was a little bit helpful when you went to go paint the black rubber, because you could just paint it and glue it on. But inevitably when you glued it on, you ended up taking part of the paint off anyway on it. I'll just show you a few of these other sprues too, and this part really caught my eye right here. This, the muffler piece back here, is all molded as one. Now there is just a little bit of a parting line right here that we'd have to just sand out, and a little bit of a touch of it on here, but as you can see, this is all molded as one big piece. And I think in the original kit it was easily over 20, because all of these were separate, each one of these circles were separate, the outer caps, it was just a lot of extra parts. And you can see it looks pretty decent, like I said, after you take that parting line out. The turret also, kind of give you a little quick view of this as well. Very nicely detailed. It just has a lot of these little accessory parts already molded in, which honestly they did a good job on it and actually saves you a little bit of time. So kind of summing it up, this is all of the parts for the entire kit. You have a grand total of 2 sets of sprues for the suspension and the road wheels, of course the body, upper hull, the turret. You have a set of really nice looking tools. You have your fenders, some of the other accessory parts like the front of the cupola too. That was another part I was going to point out to you. The cupola on the other Dragon kit was made up of, like, not exaggerating, over 30 parts when you added it all up. This looks like it's probably about 5 total. And then the fenders are all molded both top and bottom. They're very nice as well. And you can see some of the, well, we already showed you that part. So yeah, this looks like it should go together real simply, and what we'll do is we'll start on to the lower hull construction right now. Okay, I thought I'd quickly would just show you some of the basic construction of the road wheels. And the reason I'm showing you this is a little builder's tip for sanding, because there are a decent amount of road wheels on this, is before you go ahead and sand, glue the two road wheels together. And once you glue them together like that, you'll be able to double the amount of sanding you can do on one piece. So you can go right down the line and take care of all of that. Now I've gone ahead and done all of those other parts. And the only construction that needs to be done on the suspension arms here are this one little piece that gets glued into place right here. Okay, so after we have that part attached, and because of this tapered effect right here, we can go ahead and actually attach the road wheels temporarily where they press fit on. And when the press fit on, we can get a nice, make sure that all of our suspension is nice and straight. Okay, and I thought just quickly I'd just kind of show you guys the steps that go together for doing the lower suspension. And what I'll do from here on is I'll just speed this part of the film up just to show you real fast how it goes. This is another little part I thought I would show you guys, that if any of you have built the Panzer III 4s, and gluing these little parts right here in the front are normally made up of multiple little parts, but Dragon has made this so that it is just one part to glue on. And then after that, you go ahead and glue this piece in right here, which is the other half of it with the and that too is also only one part. Okay, I've gone ahead and just attached the parts on the back here, and there was probably a grand total of maybe about 15 parts to get all this detail in. Now with that in place, we're going to glue that rear end piece to the back of the tank. And the reason I'm just showing you this part is to get to this portion of the build, and this is including sanding and getting everything done, all these pieces, it's taken a grand total of about 2 hours to build all of this. So getting the whole lower half of a tank done in 2 hours, especially one with normally this many parts, and we'll glue this up a little better in a minute there, but you can see that it looks really good. All the road wheels hit the ground perfectly, really well engineered, and so far a really fun kit to put together. I'm just going to quickly too go over some of the parts and how easily they go together. As you can see, I put one half of these louvers in, and they are actually made up of just two parts that go together real simply, just like that. And then once you get that into place, you can go ahead and just glue this right down into like that, and then we'll go ahead and glue the back panel on as well. And with those parts attached on the back, we can go ahead and start attaching some of these hatches here. As you can see, they're all made that you can open them if you wish, as well as even these hatches right here on the front of the vehicle. And now I'm just putting these all in place just to show you guys. Obviously I'm going to glue them in as soon as I get done with all that. Plus then, the machine gun unit just plugs right into the front here. Actually like that. And then we'll put those other little pieces on. And so very simple to put together. You also have individual hatches in the back here for the engine. They'll all just glue right into place, just like, we'll just glue right into place there. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and start gluing all the pieces together on this part of the hull, and we'll come back and start working on the turret. Okay, what I'm going to show you here is just the basic assembly of how the most of the turret goes together. So here you see we're working on the gun, and the gun they've simplified down to just 3 pieces. Now there is no breech or anything inside, which if you're going to leave the vehicle sealed up, that really isn't going to matter, because this is taking the place of a different type of kit. There's still that other Panzer IV-D on the market that if you really want to go crazy and put all those extra parts into it, that one is available. But for the person who wants to just have like a weekend build, or doesn't want to open up the inside or anything like that, this is the perfect type of kit for them. Which I'm finding in my store now, more and more of my customers are going to that that type of thing, that they don't want something with too many parts. They want something that they can build quickly and easily and not have to fight them on it or spend months at a time building something. That's still out there for someone who really wants that, but if you don't, this is a good option for you. And the cupola just kind of pops together pretty quickly and easily. And now I haven't glued those hatches down yet. I haven't decided 100% yet if I'm going to leave it open or close. And then there's a little indicator pin mark right there that'll pop right in there. So clearly I have the top here twisted on wrong. Oh, there it is. Okay, there's the little witness mark for the inside of that. So that pops on like this, and then this will pop on right here. So simple enough. And then we've got a few other little hatches to pop these on, and then we'll glue the doors on as well, making sure that when you glue the doors down that the vision port here is kind of facing down, because they will fit on the other side, but you want to make sure you put it on the right side, just like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue all these parts on now, and we'll put the glue the front on here and then glue the gun into place and come back and show you how it all goes together. Now that we have most of the sub-assemblies put together, we can go ahead and start attaching some of this to the hull. Now there's a lot of parts that go on the fenders here that I've chose to leave off up to this point, and that's just mostly the tools and things like that. That way we can paint them separately and attach them on later on. Also, you might want to actually go ahead and attach the fenders first before you do this part right here. Just makes it a little bit easier working around it. Don't attach glue up front until you've got this back part done, and then we can put this piece in and then glue all of it together. So we're gonna let these, I'm gonna put both of these fenders on right now, let them set up for a little bit, and we're gonna come back and put the rest of this kit together. Okay, with the sides here partially set up, we can go ahead and attach this front plate. Get this down there nice and tight, and then with that in place, now the rest of this will all line up properly. We can go ahead and glue inside of there on both sides, and you can see like the little parts that they like, the little spring and stuff, that's been actually molded into here. Now one thing that I did go ahead and change, we'll come back and finish that up in a minute, is the back here. The hatch handles were not in place right there, but I had a few of those left over from an old Dragon Tiger kit that I had some extra of those. So I cut the little blob of plastic off and glued that into place. Thought that added a little bit more depth to the piece. So I'll go ahead and finish up attaching all of this, and we'll come back and I'll show you how this fits on after that. Okay, with the fenders and the front plate on now we can go ahead and glue in the upper hull, which will glue right into place there, followed up by the turret. Now, remember, I have not glued any of these pieces into place, all the road wheels and all that, and mainly this drive sprocket right here. And the main reason for that is it's going to make getting the tracks on, even though they're the rubber band type, much easier when you do not attach the drive sprocket. You can save that part for last. Now what I'll do now is I'm just going to go over and start putting on some of the basic stuff, like the other door on here and a few of the other parts that'll get painted body color. I'm going to cut off all of the tools, and we'll paint those up separately and show you how those go on. Also too, you may have noticed earlier on, I glued one of these brackets this side, glued it on the upside down, but I went ahead and changed that out as well. So I'll go ahead and put all those little pieces on and come back and show you what it looks like just before paint. Well, here we are. Here is our completed model just before paint. Kind of give you a little 360 on the view here. Now keep in mind, all the little holes are for tools and equipment that we're going to put on later on. So that stuff will all get taken care of. Overall, though, I think Dragon did a very, very nice job on it. There were like things like a few little grab handles that you had to put on that I had that were just pieces of plastic that looked a little weird. But even things like these hooks are not that bad looking. I mean, they're not as three-dimensional as, let's say, the Panzer IV D kit that came out a few years ago. But for a quick build, it looks really good. Sorry, this thing's not all the way seated properly. But they've even given you stuff like the wiring coming out of the headlights. The machine gun barrels are all hollowed out. And of course, you have the ability to open up all the hatches. So if you're going to do anything down the road, it's there for you. Now, I do have to do a tiny bit more sanding here and there just to touch up some stuff. And also keep in mind, too, I have not glued the tracks or any of the road wheels down. What I think I'm going to probably do on this kit is I'm probably going to do it in the way of a kind of a clean museum piece where there will be a little bit of wear and tear on it, but won't be dirty. You guys have seen me do enough dirty models over the years. You know that you can take any of those type of things and just transfer it over onto here. But I'm liking, and actually when I because I build so many model kits, I put these up for sale usually in my store afterward, and guys are liking to buy the kit that looks a little worn but not completely dirty. So I think we'll go ahead and do that for this kit. And especially because this video is mainly about talking the how this kit goes together with this new line from Dragon. So what we'll do next is I'm gonna pull off all the road wheels and the tracks, and then we're gonna go ahead and spray the entire model doing our black and white technique, and then of course we're gonna paint it Panzer Gray. Okay, we've got the model all ready to go. I actually left the wheels on for this, for just doing the black part of the coat, because it's going to just be easier to hold on to and paint all those things. Now, a lot of you know I like to use NATO Black XF69 as for our black and white coat as our base coat, because actually I think it looks very much like rubber. So if we're going to go ahead and paint all these parts anyway, we can just leave these areas black that look more like rubber. Now, this is a brand new bottle of 69, and I was going to show you, a few of you guys have asked again. I do have a video from about a year ago showing how to thin Tamiya paints for the airbrush, but I thought since I have a brand new one, I would just show you. So just taking our bottle of thinner, I have found that if you fill, there's a little lip right on the inside of the Tamiya bottle, which is corresponding to the amount of fluid that I put in there. And I have found for my airbrush and the way I paint, that if you fill it right to that level right there, take the entire bottle, shake the heck out of it, this whole bottle is now ready to airbrush. And it doesn't go bad. I've got bottles that are been done like this that are 6 months, 8 months old, and I use them all the time and they still work great. And it's great to know that this bottle is all ready to airbrush, so it's not, oh, I gotta thin it or anything like that. I just pull it out, pour it into my airbrush, it's ready to go. So let's paint this thing the NATO Black. So here is the final way the black coat looks, and normally I don't go any further with that, but I wanted just to show you that was no trick photography. That was just a brand new bottle of paint with the thinner added to it and one coat, and as you can see, the paint goes on like glass that way. Just really wonderful stuff. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put our white highlight coat on all of the big panels, and so when we put the German gray on it, it'll give it a little color variation in the body. There we are. There's the black and white coat that we want to get on this. And don't worry about the white being perfect on it. If there's any overspray or anything, it's all going to get covered up with the gray. Now I'm going to pull off all of the road wheels, and then we're going to shoot the entire vehicle with German gray. And thought I'd show you what I'm going to do with the road wheels. We have just a regular circle template that you can get at any art store, and this will happen to just plug right over this, so we can go ahead and paint these without getting any on the rubber road wheels. So we'll have a nice clean line on that. Here we go. This is the effect we wanted with the black and white coat when you lightly go over it with your base color. Now I also went ahead and painted the tracks black, but then sprayed our special brown color, which is a mixture of 70% NATO brown and 30% NATO black. And it kind of gives it a nice little, just misting it on, gives it a nice little tarnish color to it. It's a nice base coat for any weathering we were about to do over it. Sorry about that. And now what we're going to do now is I'm going to spray the entire model with Tamiya's TS80. That's their flats clear, and that'll seal in our paint job. And then we're going to go ahead and put the decals on it and start doing some of the other work on it, like the tools and things like that. Okay, we've gone ahead and glued on all of the tools. Put those all into place. Now we're going to work on the decals. Now they give you two variations. Not a heck of a lot of decals for this vehicle. We're going to obviously just put the insignia on, and I'm probably going to go ahead with the yellow 301 with the little red devil symbol on it there. So let's going to cut those up, and I'll show you putting those on. So a little touch of Tamiya's Mark Fit, and we'll just drag the decal into place. Get that nice and straight. And then just put a touch on top. And just let it set up for a little while. And then just come back in a bit. And with a cotton swab, you're just going to burnish it down, make sure there's no air bubbles left in there, and you'll get a nice smooth decal. So I've done some light weathering on this side of the vehicle, and this is what I was talking about not going too far on it. So now that you've seen what it's going to turn out in the end, I want to show you how we went ahead and did this. We're going to start off by using just a little enamel thinner and kind of just spreading it around up inside of here, the wheel wells, the wheels themselves, and just a thin enough coat that we've dampened the area. We're even going to put some up in this area here. And with that in place, we can now take a little streaking grime. This is enamel, and we're just gonna do a light little amount up in here. I'm just going to do a small area to show you guys. I'm kind of doing a little bit too much probably for it. Take too long. And then we're just going to kind of spread it around in there. Just blotting it all over the place. And then using that same brush that has a little bit of we dipped it in our Vallejo pigment, the light sienna, and just going to lightly blot around inside there. We don't want it to be very heavy at all. And so after you go over that a few times in through that, this is what it kind of turns out like. Just a light amount of dirt and grime inside, nothing major. So I'm going to finish up and do the rest of the vehicle like that, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, here is our final reveal of the kit. Now, what I did is after we went over the entire surface with the pigments and the washes and then letting it dry, I went over it with our blending brush here and kind of knocked off a lot of the excess powders. And so just so it leaves enough where there's a little bit in the nooks and crannies, and just kind of, you know, going over lightly like that. So we didn't want it too filthy, but it definitely looks like it has some wear and tear on it. Now, the kit itself is very nice. I'm very impressed with it. The 175 part count made it so the fact that I could complete this entire model with painting and everything probably in about 10 hours worth of time. So this is something that someone can be building on a weekend and not be taking, you know, months at a time on it. The parts all fit really well. Some of the detail, like I was telling you earlier, like some of the hooks and stuff, you might want to upgrade. Just minor things like that. Some of these other hooks actually look pretty decent and you don't really even notice them on it. The tools are from the regular Dragon line, so they're very, very nicely molded. And just a nice kit overall. Now, there are a couple of little problems with the instructions that they don't show you putting any of these other pieces on this side of the vehicle. They left it out, but I knew where it went from. This is the antenna holder on this, so you kind of can figure it out by looking at pictures of the real vehicles. But this is designed for, I think, any age and any level of model builder. Something that they would, maybe with a little bit of time and effort, can get a nice looking vehicle come out of it. So very excited about this new line from Dragon. And on the side of the box, they actually mentioned that there's the Burga Tiger coming out. That hopefully that means that there's a line of Tigers coming out as well. With if that coming out, that'd be great to have to do a Tiger that you'd only take you, you know, like 2 or 3 days to actually build the entire thing. So I'll give you one more quick little spin around there. And I want to thank you guys as always for watching. And please stay tuned because we have many more build videos coming.